Okay, so welcome back to the channel, and this video was made to show this YouTuber, Vivo, and he wanted to know how to get to the moon. He wanted to land a rover on the moon. Now, just to let you know, I do have a couple of mods that make mine look prettier. That's why I, you know. So, the first things first, I tried recording this before, and then I realized that I forgot to press record. So, this is a very basic build. And what we're doing is, you might be wondering how you do this. So, what I've done is I've done this little feature in the game that isn't told to anyone. I think the game should show everyone how to do this. So, it's how to clip pieces over top of each other. So, to do it, if you try, that happens, right? So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tap this side piece like this and make them both blue. Then we're going to hold them, and then they clip into one each other. And then the annoying part is getting them to go where you want them to go. Nope. So I'm making this tutorial completely expansion free, so we're not going to be using any of these 12 wide pieces, which are absolutely huge. Because I don't know if you have the expansions or not. So this is a very basic first stage, and in the second stage we have a two of these and a little rocket, a big rocket right there. You don't need that big rocket. I just did it because I can. And then this stage right here is just in case if we don't have if this second stage does not have enough fuel, it's going to bring us there. So this is the rover right here, and these two engines right here are going to be, I call this Perseverance. You know what Perseverance or Curiosity, you know how they get the rover on, they have a little thing that has some engines on it, and it would bring it down, and it would fire its engines. Well, it's very basic. So that's how I land my rovers. We have a little we have a what's it called? Probe clipped in between this piece right here. And it's the same trick that I showed you. We're gonna have two wheels. And then we have another probe clipped in between these two. Now, what we're doing is we're just going to need to test the rocket to see the thrust to weight ratio is perfect, and that let's hope that the weight in the fairing is not too far on one side, that the rocket's just going to go to the left. So let's activate all these engines, bring my throttle up, and ignite it. Now, to the newer updates, these angle things show up, and they tell you how to, where to go to get into orbit. So I'm just going to get into orbit, like normal. And once we get into orbit, I'll teach you how to do some transfer nodes and things like that. So we're just gonna follow this angle. Now, when the angle goes to 75, I do not go to 75. I keep it at 60. I'm going to keep going until our apoapsis exits the Kármán line. And then we're just going to decouple that, start this next stage. I'm only going to do that one, because I just want to get my apoapsis up to 40 kilometers. We're pretty well there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to time warp to our apoapsis and turn on those two side ones. I mean the two little boosters like that. And now what we're just going to do is get ourselves into orbit. While we're getting into orbit, let's take a look at the Earth. I just love these graphics. The mod creators do really good at this. So to the person that made this, thank you. So while we're getting to orbit, we're going to press navigate to while on the moon. Like that. And by the way, yes, the mods also add in some other planets. This tutorial will be for everything to do with every planet. If you want to get to any planet, this is what you're going to do. This tutorial will work with everything. Now, this rocket won't work with every planet. Like, this rocket can't get to Mars. What we're going to do is time warp to our apoapsis again. And then we're going to point towards our apoapsis, assuming that you know how orbit works from playing other space games. So, right here, we have this little transfer thing. We're going to time warp to the transfer window. And then these numbers are going to show up. You want those numbers to get to 0. So we are going to start burning towards the dot, and we want those numbers to get to 0. Now you have to be careful because the numbers can go into the negatives. You want it to be directly on 0, 0. By doing this, this is taking you to the most efficient way to get to the planet. So I'm going to start slowing down once we get to this point. Okay, so whenever you have whenever you get an encounter with the surface sphere of of any planet, it will go solid like this, and you won't have a tail behind you of your orbit. What you're going to do is I like to come over here to look at the planet, and you're going to see this line. This is going to be your trajectory of your flyby. You want this trajectory, you want this, the apoapsis of this trajectory to get down to, I'd like to go to 20 kilometers. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to time warp to this flyby apoapsis, like so. Now what we're going to do is we're going to point retrograde, or so the back of your rocket will be pointing away from your apoapsis, if you don't know what retrograde means. Not only will this, why you don't want to just go bring your apparatus down towards the moon is because you'll be going way too fast. What this does is slows you down drastically. So once you get to the apparatus, you're going to turn on your engines. Good thing I packed another stage. So what that does is also gets you into orbit. Okay, the weight isn't equal on this, so it's going to start spinning. You don't want that. You're going to just want to tinker with it so that the weight gets equal. I'm just going to land it, so if you want to land, I like bringing the parallaxes down to 3,000 or under 3,000 meters. I'm going to deploy this fairing. And look at our velocity. It's way slower than what it would have been. There's been times where whenever I didn't know what orbit was when I was playing this game, I would just slam something like 2,000 or like 2 or 3,000 meters a second into the moon. You don't want that. So we're just going to come around until our time warp will stop like this. We're going to point retrograde. Then we're going to do, okay, we do not want it. So we're just going to ditch that stage. Let's just bump the thrusters out of the way and turn on these engines. So what we're going to do now is slow down a lot. So you can't time warp under 5,000 meters when you're entering the moon. So this is the long bit. We're just going to find a flat surface area because we don't want to land in any craters or anything like that. Now we're going pretty slow. That's what we want. We want to be, when we're landing, we want to go under, what I like to do is go under 10 meters a second, or under 5 meters a second. And as you can see, we have plenty of fuel left. So when you're about this high from the ground, I like staying below 50 meters a second. Just take a look at the moon, looking pretty as always. Okay, we're heading pretty fast, so let's get down to 20. Here we go. So at this point, this is where I like getting out of the map screen. And we're landing this thing. Let's total this way because I see that we're coming towards a crater. It's not as big as those two craters over there. Alright. Here we go. Let's do it. Coming in for the landing. There we go. Now what we can do is ditch this, because we don't need it. There we go. So that is now leaving the, this is going to just enter the orbit of the Earth. So we can switch back to the rover, and here we are. We have a rover on the moon. Landed softly, and no casualties. Now the thing about rover wheels is you don't want to drive them too quick, or they'll start popping wheelies. And that's how you flip a rover. See, look, ooh, 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 ooh. I don't really like rovers because of that. But thank you for watching this video. Hope this helps you, and I'll be waiting to see if you successfully land a rover. Hopefully you do. I'm looking forward to watch it. See ya.